While some of you might think back to middle school PE classes as something that was weird or awkward, kind of like how the movies in America portray them to be, I'm here to tell you that it's a little bit different than that. Rather than sixth graders getting picked on by other kids with full-grown beards, the problem is actually something much deeper. And this is what my speech is going to be about today. The topic I'll be covering today is the issue with American schools and how they cover physical education classes. I'll go over the problems with it, what are causing those problems, and what Americans can do to fix them. I've done a lot of research into this topic over the last year and even written a few papers on it, so it's safe to say that it's something that I personally care deeply about. And honestly, it's something that all Americans should care about, because more and more people are suffering from mental health problems as well as things like obesity and overweight people. So I will cover the problems, cover the causes, and then explain what we can do to fix them. Let's start off with the problem. A lot of students in the United States just are not getting enough time in these physical education classes regularly, or if any at all. And this is leading to major problems like higher chances of having mental health problems or becoming overweight or even obese. There is a strong connection to physical activity and how it makes your mental health feel. Just think about how good you feel when you finish a difficult workout. And becoming overweight or even obese is also something that physical activity can help. One study by Summer Fitzgerald from the National Education Association shows that taking away PE classes actually hurts students' mental health and physical fitness. That's a big deal, especially with how many students are already struggling with mental health problems like stress and anxiety, as well as obesity. PE can also help with social skills, like working in a team, setting goals, or building confidence. A study from Gabriel Rodriguez-Romo and others from the National Institute of Health explains how physical education classes can teach teamwork, which will help a student far beyond high school. And of course, the benefits of physical health. Physical education helps fight obesity, and as we all know, being physically active generally leads to a healthier weight. According to a UCLA Health article written by Shale Champion, the more active someone is, the more likely they are to avoid obesity-related problems, as well as other obesity-related health problems. So yes, the problem is real, and students without good access to these physical education classes are struggling from more mental health challenges and higher rates of obesity. And that's a problem, but what is causing it? One of the biggest reasons why students don't have physical education classes is because state and federal governments are not providing enough funding. And when schools don't get this kind of funding, often they have to cut classes. Physical education classes are usually one of the first to go. The American Public Health Association reports that the federal government only steps in with these classes for funding when it is absolutely necessary. This leaves schools in low-income areas without any resources at all. And when schools just don't have the resources, their physical education programs are often the ones that can suffer the most. And this isn't just about money. It affects students from different races and different groups in different ways. According to the 2019 Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System, or YRBSS, obesity rates were much higher among African American as well as Hispanic children, with African American children suffering from an obesity rate of 37.7% and Hispanic children suffering from an even higher 38.8% obesity rate, while white children in America only suffer from a 27.7% obesity rate, 10% different. That's a huge gap, and a lot of it comes down to unequal access to physical education classes. And even when these students are getting these physical education classes, it's often just not enough time spent in these classes. Only Oregon and Washington, D.C. get the national recommendations of 150 minutes per week for elementary school students and 225 minutes for middle and high school students per week. This means out of the 50 states in America, 49 of them are falling behind and just not getting enough physical activity per week. Now that we know the problem, let's talk about what we can do to fix it. The solution is actually pretty simple. All we need to do is increase the time, energy, and funding spent on these PE programs, and treat PE programs like an actual part of school, not just an extra class. If students learn at a very young age that physical activity can help them feel better, they are more likely to use it as a healthy way to manage stress. And physical activity can help them far beyond high school as a tool that they can always use. And PE doesn't just help students feel better, it also helps them do better in school. And according to several studies, students who have good physical education programs often do better in school, as well as place higher on standardized tests in their respective academic subjects. So keeping physical education classes in schools can actually help students in many more ways than one. Lastly, students who get the recommended 60 minutes per day of physical activity have a much lower chance of developing obesity or being overweight. That's a huge benefit, especially with how common unhealthy eating and habits have become. So to sum it all up, the problem in America is that students just aren't getting enough physical activity from these PE classes. The cause is that the schools just aren't being given enough funding, and the solution is to invest more time, energy, and money into these programs and give every student in the United States the ability to be healthy and active. I hope this speech makes you think a little bit differently about physical activity and PE classes in general. It's not just about playing games or hanging out with your friends, wasting time. It's about building these lifelong habits like mental health, social skills, or physical fitness. So the next time someone rolls their eyes back about a middle school gym class, think back to this speech. PE is something that we should fight for, not something that we should forget about. PE isn't just about playing with your friends, it's about staying strong mentally and physically, and building habits that will last a lifetime. Thank you.